Rosemary, and Rosemary once again. What's up, 23% Nation? This is your man, Coach D. Today, I'm back with Herb of the Day, the one and only rosemary. So, maybe you've only encountered this herb at funerals, maybe at weddings. Maybe you use it as a spice with everything nice. Maybe you've never heard of it. Maybe, just maybe, you thought this was a introduction to the movie Rosemary's Baby. Well, guys, whatever the case may be, please listen and watch on. Why? Because we're about to dive just a little deeper into the wonderful world of rosemary. All right, first up, a little bit of background information. So a lot of us are asking, Coach D, what in the world is rosemary? Well, guys, I'm happy to say that rosemary is an aromatic herb. That's right, it's an herb. So what does that mean? Well, here's what it basically means, is that yes, it does come from a plant, but rather than primarily serve as a source of food, herbs in general serve as seasoning, and then they also have therapeutic properties. So they may be able to serve as a medicine. That's right. So basically, when we talk about herbs, aromatic or not, they're primarily going to serve as seasoning for other foods, ideally other plant foods, right? And then also they have therapeutic properties. So yes, they may be used as medicines as well. Continuing on. Rosemary is a small evergreen plant that belongs to the mint family, which also includes the herbs lavender, basil, myrtle, and sage. How nice. Its leaves are commonly used fresh or dried to flavor various dishes. So there we have it, guys. We now know exactly what rosemary truly is. All right, more background information. Rosemary essential oil is extracted from the leaves and flowering tops of the plant. Now, for those of us that are wondering, what in the world do rosemary leaves and flowers look like? Well, guys, just take a look at the picture. Beautiful, huh? With a woody evergreen-like scent, rosemary oil is typically described as invigorating and purifying. Sounds interesting, huh? So I guess maybe, just maybe, I could put some rosemary oil inside my diffuser. That's right. After all, isn't it great to have a scent that's invigorating and purifying? So there we have it. A little more background information about the one and only rosemary. All right, now it's time for a few fun facts. Having an antioxidant ORAC value of 11,070, rosemary has the same incredible free radical fighting power as good old goji berries. That's right. Now, let's remember something. 23% Nation, antioxidants are very, very important to our health. Why? Because they deactivate free radicals. Now, in case you didn't know, because antioxidants deactivate free radicals, they basically help to ward off different types of chronic illnesses, chronic diseases, such as cancer and type 2 diabetes, and maybe even heart disease. That's right. So, ladies and gentlemen, you probably want to make sure to include rosemary in maybe some of your home therapies, or maybe as a seasoning for some of your other dishes. All right, more fun facts. Considered sacred by ancient Greeks, Romans, Egyptians, and Hebrews, rosemary has a lengthy history of use for centuries. Wow, let's find out. In terms of some of the more interesting uses of rosemary throughout time, it's said that it was used as a wedding love charm when it was worn by brides and grooms in the Middle Ages. That's right. So the next time you are attending a wedding, maybe it's for mom, maybe it's for your sister, maybe it's for your auntie, whatever the case may be, Don't be surprised if you see a little bit of rosemary in her bridal bouquet. Guys, take a look at the picture. Looks beautiful, doesn't it? Nice. So there we have it, guys. A few more fun facts about the one and only rosemary. All right, more fun facts. Around the world, in places like Australia and Europe, rosemary is also viewed as a sign of honor and remembrance when used at funerals. Now, this is very, very interesting. So, guys, not only is rosemary used in weddings, but now we know it's used at funerals. Wow, how ubiquitous is that? So, take a look at the picture. Here we have a remembrance pin in memory of Mr. William. Now, do we know who Mr. William is? No, not exactly. However, this just basically gives what this slide is saying just a little more substance. And that the next time you attend a funeral, don't be surprised if you happen to see a little bit of rosemary. So there we have it, guys. More fun facts about rosemary. Okay, more fun facts. Rosemary essential oil blends well with carrier oils like lavender, frankincense, cardamom, clary sage, cedar wood, lemongrass, geranium, chamomile, and peppermint. Now, before we move on, I know a lot of you are probably wondering what in the world are carrier oils? Well, guys, don't worry, don't fret. Why? Because in a few more slides, I am definitely going to help you answer that question about carrier oils. So, more fun facts about rosemary. More fun facts. Now, if you haven't been intrigued, if you have not thought about getting rosemary, right? Well, maybe this little bit of information will help change your mind. So a lot of us are wondering, Coach D, where can we buy rosemary oil, right? Well, let's talk about it. You can easily find rosemary oil in health stores or online. It's vital to know that not all essential oils are created equally. In fact, most of them are worthless to your health and often synthetic. Now, that's the bad news. What's the good news, Coach D? Listen up. When buying essential oils like rosemary, always make sure they are 100% pure, therapeutic grade, and organic. That's right. That's how you know you get the real stuff, right? So for all of us that are wondering, well, Coach D, what does rosemary oil look like? Well, take a look at the picture. There you have it right now. Will it include the rosemary leaves inside? Probably not. But make sure, please, if you are going to use rosemary oil, make sure that you don't just get it from your average Joe Schmo health store, right? Make sure it's 100% pure, therapeutic grade, and most certainly is organic. So there we have it, guys. More fun facts about rosemary. Okay, now it's time for the not so fun facts. Now, here's what we need to know about rosemary, but specifically rosemary oil. Always dilute rosemary oil with a carrier oil to avoid skin sensitivity. There's that carrier oil question popping up once again, right? So guys, that's the reason why carrier oils are important, is because they dilute the rosemary oil and it helps us to avoid negative skin reactions. Also, when using rosemary oil topically, meaning on the skin, avoid eyes, mucous membranes, and any areas of sensitive skin. So there we have it, guys. Not so fun facts about the one and only rosemary oil. Now, let's take a look at the picture, right? And let's talk about this for just a quick second. So notice that we have a diagram that is basically helping to explain why carrier oils are important. So it says that the right carrier oil can make it gentler so that it can be applied topically, meaning on the skin. Now, without a carrier oil, using essential oils, quote unquote, neat, meaning without a carrier oil, can cause allergic contact dermatitis. That's right. So basically what this means is that when you dilute rosemary oil with a carrier oil, well, it allows it to do what it's supposed to do when applied to the skin. Whereas if you do not use a carrier oil, well, you may end up with allergic contact dermatitis. That's right. So guys, ultimately the decision is yours. I want to keep you safe. I want to keep you healthy. So please, guys, never ever apply rosemary oil without a carrier oil. All right. So there we have it. More not so fun facts about the one and only rosemary oil. Okay, more not so fun facts. Keep essential oils out of the reach of children and pets. That's right, guys. Keep the little ones and the furry ones away. Rosemary essential oil should not be used topically or diffused around children under the age of 6. So, for those of us that are wondering what in the world is a diffuser and what does it look like? Well, guys, take a look at the picture, right? Cute little dog, nice. And notice the diffuser, right? Looks really, really nice. Now, guys, the job of a diffuser is basically used to convert the oil more like into a vapor. So you can now use it as, let's say, air freshener, right? Maybe in your home, maybe in your office, wherever you like. But please, please, please keep them out of the reach of kids and our pets. So there we have it, guys. More not so fun facts about the one and only rosemary oil. All right, more not so fun facts. Taking rosemary essential oil internally may interact with anticoagulant, blood thinning drugs, ACE, diuretics, and lithium. Talk to your doctor before using rosemary essential oil, especially if you're pregnant, nursing, taking medication, or if you have a medical condition. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you are on any type of anticoagulant medications, right? Any type of diuretics, right? Ladies, if you're pregnant or you're nursing, or maybe even if you're considering thinking about getting pregnant, stay away from rosemary essential oil. Why? Because, well, it doesn't do the body that much good because you are on other medications, right? Or you're pregnant or you're nursing. So please talk to your doctor if you have any of these listed conditions. So there we have it, guys. More not so fun facts about the one and only rosemary oil. All right, now it's time to dive into the health benefits. But before we do, Coach D wants to offer you something rather special. Guys, I want to talk with you very quickly about the principle of cause and effect, which basically states that every cause has its effect and every effect has its cause. There really is no such thing as chance and or luck. In other words, everything happens for a reason. Now, the reason why I bring this up is simply because when we talk about the health benefit, well, technically that's the effect, whereas the cause is based on the nutrient or the phytonutrients that are inside of the plants. That's right. Now, some people may consider these phytonutrients to be medicines. So today, I not only want to give you the health benefit, but more importantly, I want to let you know what causes this health benefit. So, number 1, rosemary is an incredible free radical fighting power. Well, we already know that. But what we don't know are the names of these antioxidants, right? So, here we go. And please excuse me if I mispronounce any of these terms. So first up is carnosol, then we have carnosic acid, then we have ursolic acid. Then we have rosmarinic acid. And lastly is caffeic acid. Benefit number 2, discourages hair loss and boosts growth. Maybe I need some rosemary oil. That's right, guys. And by the way, rosemary oil is the cause of hair growth. Benefit number 3, improves memory. Perfect. So what's responsible? Well, say hello to the vapor of rosemary oil, also known as aromatherapy. Benefit number 4, it is a liver cleanser and booster. Perfect. So what's the cause? What's the medicine? What's the phytonutrient responsible? Well, say hello to, well, actually it has 2 different effects. It has a cholinergic and hepatoprotective effects. Interesting. Number 5, it lowers cortisol. Now, some of us don't know what cortisol is. Guys, in a nutshell, cortisol is our stress hormone, right? So whenever your stress levels go up, well, guess what? Your cortisol levels go up. That's right. So what's the cause? Well, the rosemary essential oil. And number 6, believe it or not, it may be a cancer fighter. That's right. And so, which phytonutrient in rosemary is responsible? Well, say hello to carnosol once again. So there we have it, guys. 6 amazing health benefits from the one and only rosemary. All right. Now for this video, I thought I'd switch it up just a little bit. Okay. And I wanted to bring to you some home therapeutic remedies that incorporate rosemary. That's right. So let's talk about the best rosemary oil uses. Number 1 is that it improves our memory. So let's talk about the instructions. You want to mix 3 drops of rosemary oil with ½ teaspoon of coconut oil and rub on the upper neck or diffuse it for 1 hour per day. Number 2, you can use it to study better. That's right. So for all of my college and high school and middle school and elementary school students that are out there, it may be time to put some rosemary essential oil in our diffusers, right? So here are the instructions. Diffuse rosemary oil while studying to boost cognitive function and memory. Use number 3, it boosts prostate health. Now this is very important for all of the men that are out there. Here are the instructions. You want to mix 2 drops of rosemary oil with a half a teaspoon of carrier oil and rub beneath your testicles. That's right, guys. Why not? Moving on. Number 4, it can reduce pain. You want to mix 2 drops of rosemary oil, 2 drops of peppermint oil, and 1 teaspoon of coconut oil, and rub on sore muscles and painful joints to increase circulation and decrease inflammation. Perfect. Use number 5. We can improve gallbladder function. That's right. So how? Here are the instructions. Mix 3 drops of rosemary oil with a ¼ teaspoon of coconut oil and rub over the gallbladder area twice daily. Now, ladies and gentlemen, if you are unsure as to where your gallbladder is located, well, just think of it this way. The gallbladder is located underneath your liver. That's right. So, without being too specific, just simply rub it over your abdominal area, right? But more so to the right, okay? And use number 6 is that it can help neuropathy and neuralgia. That's right. I hope I pronounced that correctly. Now, the instructions say take 2 drops of rosemary oil with 2 drops of helichrysum oil. Interesting. 2 drops of cypress oil and ½ teaspoon of acacia oil and rub on area of neuropathy. That's right. In other words, nerve damage. So there we have it, guys. 6 amazing uses for rosemary oil. All right. It's time to talk about food, but specifically plant food. So, as usual, I went to our go-to website for everything vegan, right? And I came across forksoverknives.com. By the way, there is a movie entitled Forks Over Knives, which I highly recommend you watch. As a matter of fact, pause the video, go watch the movie, and come back to the video. And let me know what you learned, okay? Now, I did my research, came across 2 vegan or plant-based rosemary recipes that I want to share with you right now. So the first one is entitled Orange Plum Rosemary Ice Pops. Take a look at the picture. Looks pretty, huh? Yeah, perfect for summertime, perfect for the kids, right? The second recipe is rosemary potato bake with onions and tomatoes. Take a look at that picture. Looks delish. Yummy. Now, if you are at all interested in making and tasting either of these dishes, all you have to do is click on the description box. That's right. Why? Because I'm providing you with a direct link to both of these recipes. So click on the description box, click on the link. Now, when you get there, you're going to find some amazing information. You're going to find pictures, maybe a video, instructions, and of course, an ingredient list. That's right. It's all waiting for you. So do me a favor. Click on the description box, click on the link, make the dish, taste the dish, come back to the video and share your thoughts. So there we have it. Not 1, but 2 delicious looking plant-based rosemary recipes from forksoverknives.com. All right, 23% Nation, I hear you. A lot of you say, well, Coach D, thanks for the fun facts and the not so fun facts and even the uses. But what I really want to know is, when should I use more rosemary? Well, guys, if that's your question, then I got to tell you that the perfect day to use more rosemary is Nature Day. What? Nature Day? Oh, yes, good old Nature Day. Now, here's what we need to know about Nature Day. Is that Nature Day is the first day of the 23% challenge. Now, yes, I do understand that a lot of us have been on quarantine. Why? Because there's a pandemic looming, lurking, right? But then also maybe you've been living under a rock and you know absolutely nothing about the challenge. Well, guys, here's what you need to know about the 23% challenge. Is that it is a monthly 7-day wellness program that is designed to help improve your health, your wealth, your relationships. Oh, and by the way, it also helps us save good old planet Earth. Now, there are 2 things that you really need to remember about the challenge. Number 1, it's monthly, meaning every month, meaning January through December. And number 2, it's only 7 days long. That's right. But as a matter of fact, it's the first 7 days of every single month, the 1st through the 7th. Now, being that Nature Day is the first day of the challenge, that simply means that Nature Day is the first day of every month. That's right. So whether it's May 1st, June 1st, or even July 1st, it's always Nature Day. All right, 23% Nation, ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, for all of you who are out there, and you are probably wondering, what in the world is Nature Day all about? Well, guys, in a nutshell, literally, Nature Day is all about eating more plants and drinking only water. That's right. So here's what I found out is that some people have absolutely no problem with eating more plants and drinking water, whereas other people find it extremely difficult to only eat plants and drink only water. So here is what I'd like to offer both groups. For those of us who think it's really hard and really difficult, right? Well, try only eating plants and drinking only water before 12 p.m. That way, after 12 p.m., you can eat and drink whatever you want. Once again, for those of us who find it difficult, right? If before 12 p.m. doesn't work for you, then maybe after 12 p.m., you can only eat vegetables and other plant foods and drink only water. That way, before 12 p.m., you can eat and drink whatever you want. Now, for those of us who think it's easy, I want you to try one of the following options. Try to become a 3% vegan. Now, what is that? That's any person, man, woman, or child, who only eats plant foods and drinks only water only one day out of an entire month. Next up is a 10% vegan, which is any person, man, woman, or child, who only eats plant foods and drinks only water only 3 days out of an entire month. Next up is a 17% vegan, which is any person, man, woman, or child, who only eats plant foods and drinks only water only 5 days out of an entire month. And next up is the ultimate 23% vegan. Now, technically, that's what Coach D considers himself to be. So, what does that mean? Here's what it means. It means that for the first 7 days of every single month, I only eat from the 5 food groups of plant foods. That's right. Meaning fruits, vegetables, and under vegetables, we do have herbs and spices. We got to talk about our legumes, meaning beans and peas. We got to talk about nuts and seeds. And let's not forget about whole grains. And yes, I only drink good old water. So there we have it, guys. We now know exactly what Nature Day is all about. All right. Some of us are still confused. Some of us are more intrigued. Well, for those of us that are confused, for those of us that are intrigued, right? For those of us who may want to shut off the video, you may be wondering, well, Coach D, you've explained all the benefits and even the detriments of using rosemary, right? But who is Nature Day really for, right? Well, let's talk about it. So maybe, just maybe, you have a physical condition. Maybe, just maybe, you have a mental condition, right? And maybe you're taking medications. Maybe you're going back and forth to the doctor's offices. Maybe you're having procedures and surgeries, right? And maybe you are just tired of it all. Maybe you want to find a natural, holistic approach to your healing. Well, guys, if that's you, then yes, Nature Day is for you. But let's be a little more specific. Right, so maybe you have the big 4: heart disease, cancer, obesity, and diabetes. Maybe you have skin issues such as psoriasis, eczema. Maybe you have blackheads. Maybe you have those whitehead pimples, right? Maybe you have digestive issues such as irritable bowel syndrome, maybe heartburn. Maybe, just maybe, you have leaky gut syndrome, or maybe you're constipated. Who knows? Or maybe you have mental issues. Maybe you're bipolar. Maybe you're depressed. Maybe you're sad all the time. Or maybe you're just pissed off, angry at everybody and everything all the time, right? Well, guys, if you meet any of those, then yes, Nature Day is definitely for you. Or maybe you're the type of person who wants to change your physical appearance, right? Maybe you want to lose an inch from your waist or an inch from your hips. You may want to try our vegan lean program. Or maybe you want to bulk up with some lean, mean muscle tissue, right? You may want to try our vegan bulk program. Or maybe, just maybe, you want to transition from the standard American diet to a more whole food plant-based diet. Why? Because you heard it's good for the planet. Why? Because you heard it was good for the animals, right? Well, it's easy, ladies and gentlemen. Eat more plants. So there we have it. We now know exactly who Nature Day is for. All right, it's time for Coach D's tips. I'm here to offer a little bit of advice, a little bit of help, a little bit of assistance for those of us who want to have a successful Nature Day. So tip number 1, go to your local grocery store. Now, when you get there, you're going to go to one of 3 places. Number 1 is the produce section. Number 2 is the freezer aisle. And number 3 is the canned good aisle. Now, a lot of people want to know, Coach D, what's best? Fresh, frozen, or canned? Well, I'm going to address that question like this. Number 1 is fresh. Number 2 is and this is a close second, is frozen. And number 3, all the way in the back, dead last, is canned. Now, the reason why I'm putting canned foods even canned plant foods dead last is simply because whenever you put any food in a can, it has to undergo a lot of processing. Well, here's the bad news, is that during this processing, many, almost all of the nutrients in the food are destroyed. That's right. And a lot of toxins are added to the point where you may end up consuming more toxins than you are nutrients. So please, guys, let canned foods be your last resort. Tip number 2, go to the prepared dishes section of your local grocery store. Now, when you're done with the produce section, the freezer aisle, and the dreaded canned good aisle, right, walk on over to the prepared dishes section. Now, how do you know when you're in the prepared dishes section? Well, it's easy. You're going to see a glass counter, and inside of the counter, you're going to see all types of prepared foods, and you probably will see an attendant standing behind the counter ready to help you out. Now, the majority of the food, if not all of the food, will be sold by weight. That's right. So walk on over there, take a glance, and if you don't recognize anything, just talk to the attendant. Ask the person if they have any plant-based or vegan options. Now, if you are a complete stranger to all these dishes, just ask for a free sample. Don't worry, it's free, right? Not going to cost you a thing. Now, if you like it, go ahead and get a pound of it. But let's say maybe you're going to have a dinner party, or maybe you're having people over for the game, right? Football, basketball, baseball, hockey, right? Then you may want to get 2, 3, 4, why not 5 pounds? All right. That way everybody can enjoy. Plus, you may even have leftovers. Tip number 3, go visit your local farmer's market. Now, here's something that I want to offer about farmers markets. They are amazing. Why? Because they cater to the non-GMO organic plant food market. That's right. So for those of us who have to have organic this and organic that, non-GMO this and non-GMO that, well, guys, the farmers market is definitely the place to be. That's right. And here's another little golden tip, is that chances are the produce may be a little cheaper versus the grocery store. Why, you may ask? Well, here's the good news, is that the produce is grown locally by a local farmer. That's right. So the food has to not be transported as far as if it were grown in a foreign country. So shop at your local farmers market. Tip number 4, go visit your local vegan restaurant. Now, a lot of people are totally unaware that vegan restaurants exist. Well, guys, I'm here to let you know that they do, and they are wonderful. Why? Because they do a really good job at hiring vegan chefs who not only know how to cook plant food so that they retain the majority of their nutrients, but they also know which plant foods to combine to yield the most nutritious, delicious dishes. So, at your earliest convenience, please visit your local vegan restaurant. And tip number 5 is to get a subscription to a vegan meal prep company. Now, I recommend this for those of us who don't have time to cook plant foods, those of us who don't know how to cook plant foods, right? Well, let somebody else do the cooking for you. So here's what you're going to do. Give them a call, get the subscription. They make the food. They may even deliver the food. You eat the food. Yes, it's just that simple. So there we have it, guys. 5 amazing tips to help make your nature day successful. All right, it's time for our question of the day, and this comes from yours truly and the rest of the 23% Nation. We want to know, what is rosemary? Is it a vegetable? Is it a spice? Or is it an herb? Now, I believe I covered this information earlier in the lecture, so if you got it, good. Please write your answer in the comment box below. Guys, I want to thank you for watching. I definitely want to thank you for listening. As always, let's eat well, feel well, think well, do well, be well. This is your man, Coach D. I'm signing out. But before I do, I got to ask you to please subscribe, share, comment, and like the video, especially if you love rosemary and its essential oil. And don't forget to use our 3-word mantra. It's hashtag Eat More Plants. As stated earlier, my name is Coach D. I'm signing out. Always remember to take care, God bless, and never ever forget that Coach D loves you.